Ladies and gentlemen, dear audience, let me warmly welcome you from beautiful Budapest. In the name of Trocellen, my name is Krista Bombera and I'm a Hungarian broadcast anchor, and it is an honor for me to be here with you today to commemorate and celebrate the 50th birthday of Trocellen. I learned that the last time you had such a big celebration together was 7 years ago in Troisdorf at the German center of the company. There's a party that celebrated the 10th anniversary of the acquisition of Trocellen by Furukawa. Today, I must say, we have even a bigger party with even more people attending, since you can all be here now, irrespective of the geological, physical location you're actually at. This is the main reason we wanted to have this celebration online, to have you, Trocellen partners and team members, as valued guests from all over the world. So it is good to have you all with us now, without the hassle of traveling, and of course, with the safety of virtuality in our pandemic-stricken times too. Before we start, I'd like to share some information with you about the event. First of all, I'd like to call the quiz to your attention. You can access the quiz on the Virtual Expo site. Many of you have already answered the questions. I answered them too yesterday, once with really many mistakes, but I did it one more time with 0 mistakes. It is fun, it is informative. Go ahead and fill it in, please, and don't forget to visit the Virtual Expo itself too. It's worth it. The platform is available to you for another week from today. Even though this seems like a frontal way of communication, we'd like to engage you beyond the quiz as well. We are open and interested in your questions and comments. Please take advantage of this. Our team will pay attention to your questions throughout the event. I'll try to get some of them to our guest speakers and management representatives. And if there are some questions left unanswered due to a lack of time during our live event now, we will get the answers to you later on. Let me shortly tell you what to expect in the next hour as well. In the first part of the event, the CEO and the CFO will welcome you and share their thoughts with you. After that, we'll have the president of Furukawa Electric on air. In the second part of the event, I'll have a chance to ask some questions of the CEO and the CFO, as well as the 5 managing directors of the Trocellen subsidiaries. And at this point, let me repeat again, dear audience, take advantage of the opportunity to ask questions too. In the Q&A section of the platform, I will take a look at your questions. Let us start our event now. The first gentleman to speak, I do not need to introduce to you. Mr. Oliver Court has been with Trocellen for 16 years. He's been a part of the C-suite, and before he started his new position as CEO this January. Mr. Court, who represents a smooth transition as the new leader of the company, has started his leadership in tough times and will now tell you about his vision of what is ahead of you. For example, the implementation of the new strategy that started this year. Please welcome on air and on stage the CEO, Mr. Oliver Court.
Welcome to our 50th anniversary celebration. I thank you for joining this live event and that you spend your precious time with us. Today, we would like to show you a little bit more in detail who Trocellen is. You will meet key managers from our different locations in Germany, Italy, Spain, Hungary, and Malaysia in order to feel that Trocellen is a colorful and diverse team. In addition, you will have the chance to raise questions which we will try to answer within this live event. So I wish all of you an interesting hour together with Trocellen. 50 years are a quite long time. Trocellen has seen many up and down over the years. A major reason for overcoming various difficulties was definitely one thing: the unconditional, strong cohesion and unity between management, our people, and our shareholder Furukawa Electric. Another fundamental pillar of our success is, of course, our long-term customer relationship and partnerships. Trocellen found with many of you the right partners. Without your support and trust, it is not possible to be successful in the market for such a long time. I would like to thank all of our people, customer and partners, and I thank the management of Furukawa Electric for the trust and continuous support. Some more information about the history of Trocellen will be given later by my colleague and friend Mr. Akira Kabumoto, CFO. I would like to focus on my speech a bit more on the future. Today the times are again very much challenging. We all need to develop new answers to fight against climate change, other social issues, many supply chain issues, soaring raw material and energy costs, and various geopolitical risks. Trocellen sharpened beginning of this year its profile and defined 3 focus fields for the future: home and work, advanced mobility, health, sport and well-being. With this clear focus, our diverse business units will develop new solutions for the key challenges in each segment. Consequently, we modified our vision, mission and strategy in order to be prepared for the challenging next years. Our vision: we let people live well, leading the way to better tomorrow. What does it mean? Real solutions. Our target is to achieve maximum comfort and safety, and at the same time, we want that people do not have to make compromise or even to give up other important issues, like environmental consciousness, personal performance targets, or even design aspects. Our mission: create trustworthy solutions for today important issues. Our way is a common path with our partners. Using our capabilities, our technology, and our experience, we are contributing to solving global issues together with full responsibility towards each other, our people, the society, and the environment. Without long-term strategy, there is no sustainable perspective. In our corporate strategy, we focus on trends and future important needs of the people. We strive to improve efficiency of our operations. We commit ourselves to sustainable products and operations. And we innovate in order to provide new, better answers for the challenges to come. The implementation of our new strategy already started in this year. We have defined the scope of solutions and the product development directions of each new segment. We are revising each process of our operations to further increase our efficiency. We digitalize those activities which can result in significant improvements. We are having bio-based materials. We are already using recycled polyethylene for certain solutions. We are operating our plants with green energy. We are using life cycle assessment and eco-design to consider all environmental aspects and create more and more conscious products. We have just launched our Nature Loop Eco brand, which we will fill with solutions contributing to circularity and carbon footprint decrease. Last but not least, we are developing new products with inbuilt digital functions. We are open to the new, more than ever. Without significant changes in our actions, we will not achieve the common climate and sustainability goals. We are ready for that, agile and committed. And we are looking forward to working together with you in forming a better world through responsible and innovative solutions. Thanks for your attention. I wish you an interesting and entertaining event. Thank you very much.
If I know this correctly, Mr. Court has just returned from a visit to Japan, where our next speaker is from. Chief Financial Officer, Mr. Akira Kabumoto, is also someone whom the Trocellen community has known for a while now. Mr. Kabumoto started his second term in Europe last spring. He had already spent 5 years here before in Europe. He has tremendous Trocellen experience, and he is the only Japanese top manager at the company, representing the owner. Let us hear now from the CFO, Mr. Akira Kabumoto.
My name is Akira Kabumoto, CFO of Trocellen. I would like to talk about the relationship between Trocellen and our parent company, Furukawa Electric. 1969, 53 years ago, in Furukawa Electric, our current parent company licensed Furukawa's original technology of chemical cross-linking forming to Bayer in Germany. 3 years later, in 1972, Bayer sub-licensed the technology to Dynamit Nobel, which began manufacturing and selling foam products in Trocellen. This was the beginning of Trocellen organization. Since then, Trocellen and Furukawa Electric have been good partners and have started exchanges. Many times, Furukawa Electric members had been participated in the global meeting, where we have had lively discussions and exchanges. I remember as if it were yesterday when I attended a meeting held in Toledo, Spain, 20 years ago, and engaged in various exchanges. Since then, Trocellen has made numerous acquisitions and expanded its manufacturing facilities around the world. Today, with factories in Germany, Italy, Hungary, Spain, and Malaysia, Trocellen is literally a global company. Then, for Trocellen, a major event occurred in 2005. Furukawa Electric acquired Trocellen jointly with very important partner Osaka Chemical, and Trocellen and Furukawa Electric became one company. This meant that Furukawa Electric's technology returned to Furukawa Electric after many years. I strongly feel an inseparable connection between Trocellen and Furukawa Electric. The Italian facility was also acquired from Bayer Italy by HT, which was the parent company at that time. Furthermore, apart from this trend, in 1984, Furukawa Electric established a company in Hungary jointly with Pannonplast, Itochu Corporation, Budapest Bank, and Hungarian Bank of Foreign Trade. This is Polyform, our current manufacturing base in Hungary. How do you all feel about this history? I feel a long, deep, and above all strong connection between Trocellen and Furukawa Electric. In 2005, we received a piece of calligraphy from Osaka Chemical written by a high priest in Kyoto. On it was written the word for Ryu. In English, it is dragon, meaning strength and growth soaring to the heavens. It currently hangs on the wall of the meeting room in Trocellen. In 2022, under the leaders of CEO Mr. Court, a new organization has started. To commemorate this, we received a new calligraphy from Furukawa Electric. On it was written Kizuna. In English, it means strong bonds between people. This was completely fit for Trocellen's future vision. We value the bonds between our parent company, employees, customers, and partners, and we will do our utmost to move forward to realize the vision set forth by CEO Mr. Court. Thank you for your attention. In the following, please listen to the video message sent to Trocellen by Furukawa Electric President Mr. Kobayashi for this special occasion of Trocellen.
安全にご健康に、古川電工社長の小林です。この度は創立50周年を迎えられ、誠におめでとうございます。この日を迎えることができましたことは、ひとえにコート CEO をはじめ、トロセレングループの各国の社員皆様方の並々ならぬご尽力の成果とお喜び申し上げます。古川電工グループを代表して一言述べさせていただきます。古川電工とトロソ連のビジネス関係が始まったのは1970年代まで遡りますが、資本関係は2005年からになります。以来、御社の事業環境は決して順風満帆な状態が続いたわけではありませんでした。多くの困難がありました。特にリーマンショックの時のように、事業存続の危機に瀕した時期もあったかと思います。その度に、経営陣の力強いリーダーシップと多くのスタッフの努力により困難を乗り越え、今年50年という歴史のマイルストーンを刻むことができました。ご存知の方もおられると思いますが、2011年11月に私はトロセレンの棚卸資産削減のため、部下と共にトロセレンに出張し、当時 CBO だったコート現社長と日々協議しながら改善を進めました。当時、コート社長との協議から学びや気づきを得ましたが、それらは古川電工の棚卸資産の管理改善活動にも大きな影響を与えてくれました。当時のことは昨日のことのように熱い思い出として残っています。今もまさに御社を取り巻く事業環境はかつてなく厳しい状況です。原材料やエネルギーコストの高騰、高いインフレ率、サプライチェーンの瓦解など、直面しているリスクを挙げればきりがありません。ですが、これが世界の現実です。現実をしっかりと認識した上で、この困難を乗り越え、さらなる高みを目指して成長していくことに全力を注いでいくしかありません。そのために、新しいことに積極的にチャレンジして、イノベーションを促進してください。古川電工は、あなたたちのチャレンジを支援していきます。古川電工はトロセレンのパートナーです。これから先、これまで以上により深く、より緊密なビジネスパートナーになっていきたいと思っています。記念品として贈呈した色紙に書かれた絆という文字は、ユナイトを意味します。お互いに協力し合って、世界規模で社会課題の解決に貢献できる製品やサービスを提供していきましょう。最後に、古川電工グループの一員として会社経営にとって何よりも優先されることは安全と健康です。安全、健康を第一にして、御社がますます発展されることを期待しております。ご安全に、ご健康に。
Thank you for being here in the studio, Mr. Korin and Mr. Kabumoto. Is that all right if I address you Oliver and Akira?
Yes, fine.
Of course.
Thank you very much. How do you feel like this setting? Have you ever done this before?
It's the first time. I
Yes.
think first time for all of us and quite exciting. But at the end of the day, it's really cool to be here and to learn this setup and a very good experience.
Well, I'm glad to be able to ask some questions, mine and the audience's questions as well of you. Let's get started. When I listened to both of your speeches now and the minutes before, I noticed that both of you emphasized more than once the significance of, I put it down, let me quote, the bonds between people at this company. Is this indeed what you're the most proud of?
In my personal opinion, the value of our people is really the key. So it means we have so many very, very good people on board with extremely intensive and intrinsic motivation, passion. And of course, this is extremely valuable because these people will be the motor of the company, not only today, but also in future. And from that point of view, I believe the people are really one very much important value of our company.
Right. Akira?
Yeah, of course. The bonding within a Trocellen organization in the employee is very important. And of course, or some important is for the shareholders and partners and customers for the bond, very important. And this bond leads to the, for how can I say, the reliability. And so this reliability leads to the good business. That's why also this bond is very important, I think.
Akira and Oliver, when I was preparing to meet you today and I looked into Trocellen, I noticed that you're active in so many different fields. Many of them are not even vaguely related. So from the car industry to the construction industry, etc., I was wondering how you would describe who you actually are.
Yeah, as I tried to explain in the speech, we already started to sharpen our profile a little bit and defined some focus fields. And with these focus fields, it is not only a kind of sharpening, but we also really want to move a little bit more from a pure product-based thinking to the to widen our perspective and to meet the real needs of the customers. And our vision is that we let people feel well. And at the end, what we are doing, we soften the impact of the people. So means when we talk about what is disturbing in the world, so means we can talk about noise, we can talk about heat, cold and hot, and we can talk about safety, protection. And these are the things, keywords for sure, as I said, comfort and safety, and this is what we are doing in all areas of life. So means when we talk about home and work, when we talk about advanced mobility, or when we talk about sport or well-being and health, all this is part of our life, and in each part of these segments we can contribute to make the world really a little bit better.
Interesting. Akira?
Yeah, of course. And it's most important things from shareholders is the safety and health. And now we have 2 points: safety and health and monozukuri. Monozukuri means in English manufacturing, but only manufacturing is not so this meaning. This monozukuri meaning manufacturing improvement and value added improvement. So this combination is a good concept from shareholders. Yeah.
Let me stay with you for a sec for the next question, because in your speech I noticed that you highlighted dominantly the cooperation of the Japanese shareholder and mother company with the European corporation of Trocellen. What do you think has the strongest values that this cooperation brings for Trocellen?
Yeah, for maybe I already explained. So
yeah, most of it you have.
Big support from shareholders.
Right.
And also, very important is to explain already some safety and health issue and monozukuri issue, but how to integrate this concept to inside Trocellen. This is very important. And also, from the acquisition 2005, we will establish a good relation for top, European top and Japanese top, bond together and getting better and better. And now we are doing well. Yeah.
You also mentioned I've written down a calligraphy in your speech that means bonds between people. That reminded me of a great challenge that any and every company are facing all over the world, which is talent management, to get the best talent, to retain talent, to keep people loyal and happy at a company. What steps do you take as a company that acknowledges that young, good people require more of a company than just a workplace?
Yeah, honestly, it's a good question, and this question at the end of the day, from my perspective, is not a new one, because at the end, the fight for talents is already existing, not only in our industry, but in total, existing since several years. How to be able to get people, good people, and how to retain those people. Just my personal experience over the last maybe 2-3 weeks, traveling over Europe, everywhere I really recognized in bars, in restaurants, in hotels, in service industries, lack of people. There are not enough people. And from that point of view, I think we really need to consider the topic of how to attract people, how to find the right people. And of course, today we know that the people probably has different requirements.
Right.
Yeah, so means we need to adjust accordingly. And it is not a critics. We just need to consider that the people from today have a different lifestyle. They expect much more than they might have expected 5 years ago. So when we talk about work-life balance, when we talk about home office things, so many things what we really need to consider in order to be attractive as employer.
That's true.
And the last sentence, of course, the most important is to give the people a purpose. It is not just about money. It is not just about having something to do. So the people really need to understand, they need to know why I'm working in the company, why I'm working for Trocellen. What is the real meaning behind? And if we are able to do this in a good way, I'm sure that we will be able also to, let's say, catch more and more new people in case of need.
Right, the company needs a purpose too.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, already said, but so we feel that young and good people's requirement is getting higher and higher for the work style. And also, most important thing is we must propose the way of work style that fits for the times. This is very important. And also, I've heard that Japan is also same situation.
Right.
Yes.
Let's swim into tougher waters, if you allow me. Let's take a look at your industry from a bird's eye view for a sec now. What do you think the general outlook may be of your industry under the present economical circumstances?
Yeah, I think everybody knows the today's economical situation, at least in Europe, is everything but not really easy. And I think everybody of us is able to read the daily reports, the daily news, and even the let's say, taking a look to the key indicators regarding economical development. There are more and more not only signals but clear evidence that at least Europe might go into a deeper recession. So, and from that point of view, I think it will be quite hard for all of us, not only for Trocellen, but for the whole industry, to deal, let's say, with these uncertainties and to find the right way to manage it. And for us, and this was also one part of our strategy, what we defined, for us it is very much important to strengthen our resilience. So what does it mean? At the end of the day, it means we need to be much more in the position to act in a very agile way and to adjust ourselves in a very, very short time in order to, let's say, give the right answers, maybe of a decreasing demand, or maybe even the opposite. So it means this flexibility we had already during the COVID times, right? So means during the COVID times, there was also from 1 month to another a big decrease. But on the other side, we decided together with our management team, okay, but we need to be careful. We need to be ready if the market grows up again. And this is exactly this kind of resilience what we need in order to be prepared for the worst. Of course, we hope for the best.
We always have to. Akira?
Yeah, completely agree with his opinion. Yes.
Let me engage the audience. Dear gentlemen, we have 2 questions that I think are very straightforward and important ones that I'd like to engage, if you allow me. A member of the audience has a question related to the current energy crisis and Trocellen's production, probably. How does the energy crisis affect the company? I believe the question is partly about your ability to perform, to meet your KPIs and your partners' requests, and to meet the challenges of the crisis.
Of course, extremely difficult. Good question, but extremely difficult because at the end of the day, we all know we are in a quite energy-intensive industry. And from that point of view, the soaring energy cost really hits our profitability extremely. So, and from that point of view, there is no real chance beside, let's say, to try to ask also our customers to, let's say, to take a little bit of our burden.
Right.
And at the end of the day, also our customer need to forward certain price increase needs finally to the end user. Without that, I think it will be extremely difficult to remain with a minimum profitability in the market. And at the end of the day, of course, it will be the question how long this game, this inflation will need to be rolled out over completely to the market. We see it, the normal end user already is facing with a lot of inflation. But at the end of the day, we really need to act as strong partners. So not only supplier and customer, but everybody in the supply chain need to give a certain part. And this is for me also part of a partnership.
Inflation, Oliver, the $1 million question, right?
Absolutely.
Akira?
Yeah, of course. In the European situation, it's very serious compared to the Japan.
Right.
But in this time, so of course, to collaborate with shareholders to discuss and also to go, we'll get some support from shareholders. It's very important, I think.
We have another very good and very straightforward, important audience question. Let me ask you that one. How can a plastic foam-based solution provider be sustainable? How are you with sustainability?
Yeah, I think we are on a good way with the sustainability. Regarding this question, I think we need to set the ground. What is sustainability?
Right.
It is not only green, it is not only, let's say, one side. At the end, we need to define sustainability in the right way according to the famous ESG criteria. And from that point of view, I think, how to say, we need to use the right objective criteria.
Okay.
For example, life cycle analysis and other tools in order to really get objective criteria to give an answer. Is our product, is our solution really sustainable, yes or no? And sustainability, as I said, is not only environmental, but it is also social criteria and governance criteria. And from that point of view, I strongly believe that we are on a really good way to be more and more sustainable in this ESG definition.
Like you said, sustainability stands on 3 pillars, at least: societal, business,
Exactly.
and environmental. We'll talk about the societal pillar with the managing directors in a couple of minutes.
Good.
Kira?
Yeah, of course, is our products is not only recent years, so many years is a challenge how to utilize these products
Right.
for as a sustainable materials. But we are doing something for many trial to produce the sustainable materials, and also our shareholder is very concentrate on this sustainability products generation. And also we will have a good harmonization with shareholders. This is also very important things.
Yeah, they are needed to be on board
Yes.
with this.
Yeah.
There was one more interesting thing connected with the calligraphy that you talked about in your speech that I wanted to mention as one more question at the end. You talked about these pieces of calligraphies from a high priest in Japan. One of them ended up on a wall in a meeting room in Troisdorf, Germany. I guess it was a present. So let me turn to you, Oliver, first with the question, because I'm really interested in how you would describe the similarities or the differences in the European business mindset, thinking, environment, and mentality from the Japanese one.
Okay, I was just a few weeks ago, the last time in Japan, and for me, what was also a kind of eye-opener again is because basically the business environment, even the general economic situation is not so much different than the European. So means our colleagues in Japan face really exactly the same topics. Starting from COVID, of course, and then the soaring raw material, energy costs, they suffer as we suffer. There's maybe just one difference while we are just talking about the inflation.
Right.
Of course, the inflation situation in Japan is completely different because they have a different political system regarding the money policy. So inflation is not the big topic. In general, I think I can say what I believe the Japanese management is more focused in general, more on the long-term strategic topics. So they are really thinking much more in longer terms. While we already say strategic, maybe 5 years, our Japanese friends, strategic for them is maybe 10, 15 or even 20 years.
Very
which
big
is
difference.
Exactly, but this is extremely important when you set up, let's say, the strategical targets also regarding product developments and so on and so forth. So this is quite something where we still can learn a lot.
Very interesting. I didn't know that. Thanks for sharing. Akira?
And so for the mentality point of view, I think a main difference between European works more individual, but the Japanese works in teams.
Yeah.
In this sense, Trocellen is getting more and more Japanese company, I feel. And also in Trocellen, there are many nations and cultures existing. So, and across the border, together to bond, this is very important. And so we finally we can have a good bonds between Trocellen Group, I believe.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, gentlemen. You're very good in a TV studio setting. You should do it more often.
Oh,
Let's see
better
next
not.
year. Or the next anniversary.
Okay.
Thanks for being
Thank you
here
very much.
with us.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. And before we go on with the program, I would like to remind you, dear audience, of two things. The first is that we are very happy to receive your questions still. We may not have time to answer them now live, but everybody who submits questions that we understand will get the answer later in the mail. The other thing is the quiz. I talked about the quiz before. Please take a short look at the funny quiz. It's worth filling in. Now we have arrived at a panel conversation with a lot of guests from all over the world. In his speech at the beginning, Mr. Oliver Court mentioned an important thing. I think if I recall that right, he talked about Trocellen being a very diverse and colorful team. Akira mentioned that just now again, with the cohesion and unity between management, employees, and even the shareholder. Now let us turn to the managing directors of the 5 countries with Trocellen factories for a joint online conversation about the past, the present, and the future of this half a century-old company. Dear guests, thank you to be here with us from Malaysia, Italy, Germany, Spain, and Hungary. Good to have you all. Let me take the most of my time. Let us start with a bit of the history of Trocellen. This company has a long way since it was founded in Troisdorf. We've talked about it a lot in Germany, half a century ago. But why was Trocellen launched in Troisdorf, first of all? Let me turn to you, Dr. Ross. What did that city, that German region, provide for this company to grow and excel there?
Well, Christina, good morning at first, and glad to be part of this great event, live session here. Germany is known for its strong chemical industry. Next to Ludwigshafen, which is based in the south, where the world's largest chemical company, BASF, is headquartered, North Rhine-Westphalia is the second largest region and home to well-known companies such as Bayer, Covestro, Basel, and Shell. They are all based not more than 50 kilometers away from our plant in Troisdorf, the industrial park here where we are operating. A lively exchange and a close network of industry, university, and other services have made the region to one of the world's hotspots for innovation in plastics and technologies over the decades. And Trocellen is part of this success story and really benefits from this to a great extent.
Thank you very much. Let me turn to your Hungarian counterpart, because the Trocellen Group has an odd one out member company, at least as far as naming goes. The Hungarian company is not named Trocellen Hungary. It is called Polyfoam. Well, the word polyfoam brings beautiful memories to a lot of Hungarians who love to camp, including myself. So I was wondering, we've always called the mat that we sleep on in tents the polyfoam. I still call even my yoga mat my polyfoam, no matter what its actual material is. So, Mr. Puhár, why the name Polyfoam instead of Trocellen Hungary?
First of all, welcome everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, whoever watches us. Yes, we are very proud of this in Hungary, this phenomenon, because this word became an integral part of the Hungarian language. This is a word which is used for not just this material, but for the product, no matter by which manufacturer it is produced in the world. So the name Polyfoam was given by the founding owner, Furukawa, in 1984. And the first part of the name, poly, refers to polymerization, which is the process of producing plastic in very simple way. And the second part refers to foam, which is a soft foam-like material. So since Furukawa gave this name, and by the time Trocellen became the owner in 2006, 100%, the brand name had become so strong in Hungary that a decision was made not to change the name from Polyfoam to Trocellen Hungary. So this is the short story behind it.
Thank you very much. Mr. Ottavi, let me turn to you now with a question I had while listening to your CEO, Mr. Cord. The CEO, I think, said that in the vision, mission, and strategy of Trocellen, it is very important to lead the way to a better tomorrow. Mr. Ottavi, I know that Italy is, in a sense, a cradle of environmental friendly solutions and technical innovations in several industries. At Trocellen, what would you mention as such progressive products that you're proud of?
And thank you very much for this question, Christina. Despite of the hard and complex business situation that we all faced in the past 2 years, the Italian division didn't stop to work on products and process development. Maybe because we Italian, we cannot live even a single day without to put creativity in our life. And we don't distinguish if it is private or working life. We just need to create. So in this case, we developed a really interesting solution to reuse our trimmed or even scrapped polyethylene into an application which is having, I had to say, a very good success into the footwear division. But as said, we never stop to invent and create. So just now, we are doing some research to test a possible application also into the thermal insulation business.
Thank you very much. Thanks for your answer. And when it comes to environmental sustainability, I think it is worth taking a look at the Spanish efforts now, since one of the most important investments at Trocellen Spain is a brand new way of operating plants which saves more energy and decreases the carbon footprint. So let me turn to Mr. Fernandez now. Would you please explain, tell us in more details what this operation exactly contains?
Yes, of course. Thank you, Christina, first for your brief introduction. You mentioned the environmental sustainability, energy saving, and decrease of carbon footprint. This has been also mentioned by Mr. Court some minutes ago. And of course, this has been key issues for the whole organizations in the last years. So the project you mentioned for Iberica fits perfectly with all these targets and values, and basically consists in the installation of a photovoltaic plant to generate electricity. This project started in 2020 already, and will be finished next year, 2023. Of course, the electricity generation is already running partially, and at the end of the project, we will have around 1,300 solar panels producing electricity. These 1,300 panels approximately, of course, will contribute to optimize our energy consumption, for sure. But important also is to mention that this will reduce our CO2 emissions by around 125 tons per year. Of course, 125 tons is just a number, just a figure, but just to put it into context, 125 tons of CO2 are equivalent to, let's say, 5 to 6 full flights Madrid-Barcelona. So we think is a remarkable figure to take into account. So as a final conclusion, I say this photovoltaic plant is a remarkable contribution to our environmental targets. And not only now immediately, but also thinking in the long term, which is part of the commitment we have with our shareholders also. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fernandez, for putting those numbers into context as well. With Oliver and Akira, we were just talking in our Q&A before about sustainability and how it is standing on 3 pillars, of course, besides environmental sustainability. Business and social sustainability are also equally important. So now I think it's time for us to highlight the latter now, social sustainability. Mr. Chu, let me turn to you now. Do I know that correctly that in Malaysia, the Malaysian company is a great example when it comes to meaningful and effective programs of social responsibility?
Malaysia. You're absolutely right by saying that sustainability does not only include environmental and business aspect, but it also encompasses to the social aspect and our contribution to the community and society. I'm proud to say that Trocellen Southeast Asia in Malaysia has always been there to give our community a helping hand whenever there is a need, from natural calamities in our neighboring countries like Indonesia, Nepal, the Philippines, and even our very own local community in Malaysia. We have always felt that it's our responsibility to contribute back to the society. Just take the COVID-19 pandemic, for example. There was a severe shortage of personal protective equipment in the country during the start of the pandemic. So we tried everything we could to produce the PPEs, such as face shield and protective suits, and distributed them to various hospital and healthcare centers across Malaysia to support our frontliners. Not only that, despite facing financial challenges, during the lockdown, we did not let this affect any of our employees. None of them faced any pay cuts or layoffs, and that is the least we can do as a company that cares for our people. And this is not just happening in Trocellen, Southeast Asia. Other Trocellen plants across Europe are also doing the same in their communities. And I truly believe that it is instilled in our Trocellen corporate culture to care and contribute back to the society. For that, I'm very proud to call myself a Trocellian.
Thank you very much for your answer. And now let us talk a bit about technology as well. Because if I know that right, Trocellen takes pride in adopting new technologies. Mr. Ross, would you please highlight some of those technological solutions that you think would exemplify how Trocellen has become a complex and tech-advanced company?
Yes, certainly I will, Christina. The reason why we are here is, as everyone knows, of course, we are celebrating the 50th anniversary of the first foam production. This foam has been produced by a technology called chemically cross-linked, horizontally foamed technology. In the meantime, however, we have also put another important technology in operation, which is the so-called physically cross-linked technology. This specific cross-linking technology is using electron beams and generates unique foam properties that are required for demanding adhesive tape applications, insulation applications, and applications in the footwear business. The name horizontal, vertical also refers to the orientation of the foaming oven. The chemically cross-linked is usually foamed in a horizontal way, while the physically cross-linked is foamed in a vertically oriented position. The thickness of those physically cross-linked foams can be significantly less than 1 millimeter. In addition, Christina, to meet the ever-increasing quality requirements for surface properties, we also invested in additional finishing equipment. This allows us to adjust the surface properties specifically and permanently until our foam is finally used by our customers all over the world. And by the way, let me point out and remark here, the Troisdorf site is the only plant in the Trocellen group which has production facilities for such physically cross-linked foams. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ross, for your answer. And let me turn to Mr. Ottavi now again for a sec. Mr. Ottavi, please allow me a personal comment. We were all shaken by the heroic efforts that ILE put into containing the damages caused by the COVID pandemic. In your view, Mr. Ottavi, was Trocellen able to play a part in the Italian efforts in the fight against COVID-19?
Thank you for this question, Christina. My answer is straightforward. Yes, it was. We Italians, we are know to be not too much disciplined people, quite loudly, and also good coffee expert. But I can assure you that when there is something really important to face, we'll pull out an unbeatable energy. And well, I am proud to say that Trocellen Italy, after that the patient zero case rising up on the end of February 2020, was able to prepare a very detailed sanitary protocol in the time of a weekend. Okay, we worked almost 24 hours a day, thanks to our coffees, but thanks to this document, we protected all our employees and we never stopped our operations. And to me, the second reason of pride was that this protocol has been in some way adopted also by the other Trocellen division and put at disposal of everyone who eventually needed it through the LinkedIn platform.
Thank you very much. And one last question on a lighter tone when it comes to our global experiences and memories of the pandemic period. I don't know if you had the same feeling that I had, as if all the people bored in lockdown had made an oath to do more sports in their living rooms than they ever had outdoors before. I definitely bought a lot of sports tools online. So let me turn to Mr. Pluhar again. Was this impression of mine valid? Was there really a growth in demand for sports tools?
Yes, I can just confirm it fully. For us, it was not just impression, but it was a real experience that after the outbreak of the pandemic and the lockdowns and the curfew period, the demand increased significantly. I think it was really an obvious way and maybe the simplest way of fighting boredom, locked in the house or homes. And this was not really a surprise to us. But what we had to tackle was that the demands became unpredictable, and this rise in demand lasted more than a year, and then it fell back, of course, which was also a natural consequence of the situation. So this is what I can tell. Your impression was absolutely correct, Christina.
Well, we better keep up the exercise, not stop it. Thank you all for being with us, and good luck to all of you and your teams in your work to achieve your goals. Thanks for the conversation, gentlemen.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So we must now come to an end of this event. I hope you found this hour together interesting and you got a better idea who Trocellen is. I'm looking forward to our intensive cooperation with all of you. Thank you all for spending your time with us. Maybe a final private last word to all Trocellen colleagues. We all know that the period ahead is not easier at all than the past years. But I can assure you that, like before, we will come out of this situation together and even stronger. Stay safe and healthy. Cheers, salute, and campé.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.